Okay, hello everyone. Alright, so in this video, let's look at integer division. Alright, so we have seen, let's just pull out our calculator for this one. We have seen regular floating point division where we use, for example, let's just use a print statement here to divide something like 2 by, let's say, 5. 2 divided by 5. If we put 2 divided by 5 in our calculator, we know that we get 0.4, right? So that's floating point division. It's called floating point division because it gives you the exact floating point value. If it's 0.4, it gives you 0.4. If it's 2.8, it gives you 2.8. So when I run this, it gives us 0.42 in our program. So that's correct. Now, integer division is a bit different. And instead of using 1// you use 2//. Now, let's remove the operand and let's change it to, let's say, 5 divided by 2. All right, so when we try to divide 5 by 2 the regular way, so 5 divided by 2, we get 2.5. And this is floating point division because we get the exact floating point value, 2.5. Now, with integer division, what happens is if you type in 5 divided by 2, we get 2.5, right? We get 2.5 in our calculator. But with integer division, right, it's going to do the division all right. It's going to basically perform the division all right. But instead of giving you the floating point value, because it's called integer division, right, it's going to give you only it's going to give you, for example, only the integer part of the answer, right? 2.5, it's not going to give you 2.5, it's going to give you 2, right? It's going to drop the 0.5 and give you 2. So when I compile this, we say I get 2. Whereas if I had only 1, it would give me 2.5 because that's floating point division. Integer division does the division all right, gives you the same answer, 2.5, but it returns or it results in only the integer part of the result and then drops anything after the decimal point, right? There are some conditions with integer division, right? If the result of what you're dividing is a positive number, in this case we know 5 integer divided by 2 gives us 2.5 because we know it's a positive number. If the result is a positive number, that is when the integer part of the answer is the result, and then anything after the decimal point is dropped off. Like this, we know this result, it was a positive number, so that's what we get to, right? But if we try to do, let's say, -5 integer divided by 2, so when we try to do a regular division in our calculator, -5, right, divided by 2, we get -2.5. And you would think that the way integer division works is it's going to drop off anything after the decimal point and give you -2. So the way integer division works is this: if the result of your division, okay, your integer division is a positive number, then that is where it's going to only return the integer part of the answer and then drop anything after the decimal point. But if your result is a negative number, then it's going to round that number, the whole number, away from 0. So in this case, it's going to round this -2.5 away from 0, and it's going to be -3. Okay, it's moving it rounds it away from 0 to the very next or the nearest integer. Okay, I forgot to add that one. All right, so if the result of your integer division results or basically is a negative number, then it's going to round away from 0 to the next or nearest integer. So we know the next or nearest integer away from -2 is -2.5 is -3. So this is, we're going to get -3 as a result. That is when you have your answer as a negative number. It rounds it away to the nearest integer away from 0. If your answer is a positive number, then it slashes off anything after the decimal point and then gives you just the integer part of the answer, right? So when we compile this, I'll debug this, you see we get -3. So it can be confusing. You may think that it works the same way. If you have, let's say, 10 divided by 10 integer divided by 3. Let's do that in our calculator. We get 10 divided by 3, we get 3.3333, right? Let's do the same thing here. But this is integer division. We know that we know 3.333 is a positive number. And the way integer division treats positive numbers, okay, the result of a division, basically positive result of a division, the way it treats them is, if it's a positive number, then it's going to drop anything after the decimal point, right? And then only have the integer part of the answer as the answer, as a final answer. But if you have something like 10 integer divided by -3, so let's do a regular calculation. So 10 divided by -3, right? We get same thing. We get -3.333. We know this answer is a negative number, but the way integer division is, treats negative results of integer divisions is it rounds it away from 0 to the nearest integer. So -3.33, the nearest integer away from 0 is -4. So you'd think that, okay, it's going to drop off anything after the decimal point and then have -3 as the answer. But that only happens if the result is a positive number. If it's a positive number, it's going to slash off anything after the decimal point and then and give you the result and it's going to basically return or result in the integer part of the answer. It's going to only return the integer part of the answer and drop anything after the decimal point. I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit excited and talking too fast. All right, and if the result is a negative number, right, it's going to round it away from 0 to the nearest integer. So this is going to be -4 because the next integer away from 0, from -3.33 is -4. So I hope this is clear. I know I was talking too fast because I was getting kind of excited over there. All right, so we should expect -4 here. So run this, and we see we get -4, right? So play around with it. Make sure you have an idea of it, how it treats positive results and then negative results, right? If you are basically performing integer division and the answer is a positive number, it's going to slash off anything after the decimal point and only have the integer part of the answer as the result, as the final answer. If the result of your integer division is a negative number, then it's going to round away from 0 to the next or nearest integer, and that's going to be your answer. All right, so that's important to know because when you're working with your math, this can mess you up a lot. All right, if you have any questions, please comment down below and I'll do everything to respond to them. Sorry, I was talking a bit fast, but I hope you got it. Sometimes I just can't help it. All right, so yeah, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time with the next video. All right then, bye-bye.